Good morning, universe. You are now tuned into the Universoul Ant Show. It is April 29th, so I just want to say thank you for joining me for my birthday. Wow, I need a refund. Needs me a refund, Family Dollar. What the freak? Okay, man, now that we got that over with. Now that the party's over, the Universoul Ant Show is a place where you can delve with me deeper into self-awareness while gaining that good community feeling. I'm your boy, Universoul Ant, and today we're going to be talking about ADD. So let's get straight into it. Alright. Happy Monday to you. It's been a whole week. I hope you guys had a great week, great weekend. Hope you're crushing it. Getting this Monday started to a good one. So yeah, ADD, ADHD, it's a close thing to my heart, man. I was told that I had it by a doctor when I was young, and I've definitely come across a lot of people with the stuff. And I've come across a lot of people who didn't really have any information on what it was or questioned if it even existed. So I just wanted to bring you guys some facts, let you know what's going on, see what you guys think about it, and yeah, hope to give you some good stuff that you didn't really know about yet. Google told me that ADHD was first mentioned in 1902 by British pediatrician Sir George Still, who described an abnormal defect or moral control in children. He found that some affected children could not control their behavior the way a typical child would, but they were still intelligent. The next question I asked Google was, when was ADHD recognized? In 1955, the FDA approved the psychostimulant Ritalin, which it says in hyphens methylphenidate. Methylphenidate. If you want to Google that, I'm sure you'll get something that's similar to a methamphetamine, which later became popular as an ADHD treatment as the disorder became better understood and diagnoses increased. Next question. How does ADHD affect a person? Google says physical and mental health problems. The symptoms of ADHD can contribute to a variety of health problems, including compulsive eating, substance abuse, anxiety, chronic stress, tension, and low self-esteem. Now, I know those are pretty freaking, I can relate. Yeah, that's for sure. I like some uphill, downhill battles that you go with through in life, you know? And these are definitely some of them, man. How is ADHD caused? Google says heredity is the most common cause of ADHD. Other risk factors for ADHD have to do with factors that can influence brain development and functioning, such as exposure to toxic substances in the developing fetus and acquiring brain injury due to trauma or disease. So like, ADHD doesn't just appear when you're an adult, you know? Like you either have something traumatic happen to where it shows up in your brain, or you're born with the thing, or you're exposed to chemicals as a young child which develops ADHD in your brain. There's a lot of causes, and I'm sure that these aren't even the ultimate list. I'm sure if we keep doing research, we're going to find out a lot of different causes. This was an interesting question from Google. Can a child with ADHD live a normal life? As many as 60% of individuals with ADHD symptoms in childhood continue to have difficulties in adult life. 60% of us ADD heads, are walking around with problems still that we didn't figure out because nobody really has a lot of solutions for ADHD so far. So yeah, I just wanted to These numbers really blew me away, and I was like, wow, I'm dealing with this stuff, but also 60% of people that have ADHD are dealing with this stuff as well. So let's just get on and talk about it. Next question from Google: what are the signs of ADHD? Signs of hyperactivity that may indicate your child has ADHD include being overly fidgety and squirmy, having an inability to sit still for calm activities like eating and having books read to them, talking and making noise excessively, running from toy to toy, or constantly being in motion. If that doesn't explain every child under 5 that I've ever been around, I don't know what does, man. Come on. Give me some better tellers. Okay, so now that we got a little bit of background on this thing we call ADHD, this mental thing, phenomenon, did you guys know that there's 7 different types of ADHD, man? Here's what Google has for you. 7 types of ADD. Type 1, classic ADD, ADHD. Type 2, inattentive ADD. Type 3, overfocused ADD. Type 4, temporal lobe ADD. Type 5, limbic ADD. Type 6, ring of fire ADD. And type 7, anxious ADD. And now that you know those 7 types, which when I first started doing research on this, I had zero idea. Like, I just knew what it was because I lived with it. I didn't know what it was because I did my research on what people that don't live with it thought about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you some information, like some background on the 7 types. Type 1, classic ADHD. Symptoms include being inattentive, distractible, disorganized, hyperactive, restless, and impulsive. Procrastination can also be an issue. People with classic ADD have reduced blood flow in the brain area of the prefrontal cortex, cerebellum, and the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia. Should have did my research on that word. The basal ganglia helps produce dopamine. Okay, so the basal ganglia, dopamine machine, man. The goal of treatment is to increase dopamine levels. Type 2, inattentive ADD. Symptoms include being inattentive and easily distracted, but not hyperactive. Sluggish and slow moving with low motivation. People with inattentive ADD are often described as space cadets, daydreamers, and couch potatoes. This type is more common in girls than boys, and is often diagnosed later in life because these people don't have behavioral problems. People with inattentive ADD have reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, as well as low levels of dopamine. Treatment is the same as type 1 and type 2. Type 3, overfocused ADD. Overfocused ADD includes classic ADD symptoms plus trouble shifting attention, frequently getting stuck in loops of negative thoughts or behaviors, obsessive, excessive worrying, inflexibility, and frequent oppositional and argumentative behavior. People with overfocused ADD have a deficiency of serotonin and dopamine. The goal of treatment is to increase both of these neurotransmitters, the nervous system's chemical messengers. So basically, neurotransmitters affect every part of your existence, you know, how you feel, how you act, how you see the world. You gotta make sure that your levels are good and balanced or there's gonna be issues, man, that's crazy. Type 4, temporal lobe ADD. This type includes classic ADD symptoms plus being irritable, quick-tempered, and aggressive, and having dark thoughts, mood instability, and mild paranoia. People with this type might see or hear things that are not there. Learning and memory problems may be present. People with temporal lobe ADD have irregularities in their temporal lobes and less activity in the prefrontal cortex part of the brain. Wow, man, that's crazy. Type 5, limbic ADD. This type includes classic ADD symptoms plus chronic low-level sadness, but not depression. Negativity, glass half empty syndrome, low energy, frequent feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness, and low self-esteem are other symptoms of this type. People with limbic ADD have excessive activity in the limbic section of the brain, which is where moods are controlled. They have reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex both when relaxing or focusing on a task. Number 6, Ring of Fire ADD. This is a more extreme version of classic ADD, plus being extremely distractible, angry, irritable, and overly sensitive to noise, light, clothes, and touch. People with this type are often inflexible, extremely verbal and oppositional, and might have cyclic moodiness. People with the Ring of Fire ADD have an overactive brain. There are excessive amounts of activity in the cerebral cortex and other areas of the brain. And finally, type 7, anxious ADD. Anxious ADD includes classic ADD symptoms plus feeling anxious and tense, physical stress symptoms like a headache or stomach ache, freezing when in situations that cause anxiety, and anticipating the worst. People with anxious ADD have high levels of activity in the basal ganglia, which aid in making dopamine. This differs from the majority of the other ADD types, which have low activity in this part of the brain. So yeah, man, isn't that crazy? 7 types. 1, I want to know, did you even know that there were 7 types, man? That's freaking crazy. Number 2, I want to know what type you are. I wanted to like sit down and think about like what type I am. And I'm gonna have to tell you guys, like, I'm a mix of types for sure. Like, I feel like type 1, classic ADD, like, I got the classic stuff, you feel me? But also, inattentive and over-focused, limbic, all sound like those can be types where it affects your mentality for your perspective on the world, you know what I'm saying? So, if you deal with those challenges, make sure you're setting up a lifestyle for yourself that you can really thrive with your ADHD by making sure that you get the dopamine that you need, the serotonin that you need. That all has to do with good fruits and vegetables. That all has to do with good sleep. That has to do a lot with water. Yeah, once, like, I made this video also because, like, I struggled figuring out a good plan for my life with ADD. Like, a plan for just getting everyday stuff done, you know? And I realized now that the way that I like to get stuff done best is just like right when I think about it, I do it, you know? If I don't do it right away when I think about it, later when I try to do this thing, it's gonna leave me feeling like I don't have energy for doing it, or I'll just completely forget. You know? So like the main way that I have figured out how to be successful with ADHD has been just like doing things immediately when I think about them. Not so much in a compulsive way, but in a thoughtful way that I know that things are not going to get done unless I just do them now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I wanted to share my ADD experience a little bit with you guys. It started when I was like, well, I mean, it started when I was born, I think, but when my mom realized that she might need to take me to a doctor for some behavioral issues was when I was like running around class, like hanging on the teacher's leg, like biting people, you know, just like doing the weirdest, like most outrageous stuff in class, but not because I was like unintelligent, but just simply because I needed something that I liked focusing my attention on, you know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that they have you do in school doesn't necessarily make you make you starve for learning, you know what I'm saying? So it was it started when I was younger, you know, and my mom took me into the doctor. The doctor asked a few questions about my behavior and my focus in school and all that. I had no idea why we were there. But my mom was just like, you gotta focus, man. Like, you have to focus. So we're talking to this doctor to figure out ways for you to focus now, man. So I went to the doctor. They asked me a whole bunch of questions, and finally they told me, hey, like, we have these treatments. They are pills, and they'll control your behavior and let you focus through the whole day of school, you know? And so I was like, dang, like, yeah, I was gonna do anything that my mom told me to do. Like, I didn't want to be making my mom upset, you know? I was just in that room to make people happy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just there to say, okay, so that I could just live my life and not have people like keep telling me you're bad and you're doing this wrong and all that, you know what I mean? So they said, okay, we have this treatment. It's a Concerta, and Concerta is a brand of ADHD medicine, and all of these medicines, Ritalin, Concerta, there's a list of them. Like, you can Google it yourself, but all of these pills do the same thing, man. They're methamphetamines. They are like, they're molecularly close to methamphetamines, you know? So like, we're giving crack to kids and hoping that they focus. Wow. You know, like, child crack, you know, like, what the hell, man? So anyways, I ended up taking this Concerta for like a couple years, you know, and basically it made me feel like I was just trapped in my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't feel like a good place to be in my body because of the way that my mind would operate on these medicines, you know? So it really lowered my creativity, and I started feeling like probably depressed, you know? I was feeling a certain way that I didn't want to feel, you know? And I'm sure the reason for that is because these drugs work in a specific way, you know? They work similar to methamphetamines. They're speeding up your brain. They're tiring out the parts of your brain that you focus with, you know, so that you don't focus on 10 things and you are able to focus on just one thing. So basically, I was ending up days so tired and like, why am I so tired? All I did was school, you know, but you take that pill and it just turns your brain on, boy, and you feel like you can focus, you know, but you don't feel like yourself, and like you're able to do exactly what you want to do, you know? So that was like a crazy experience, and I really feel like that conditioned my body into needing a substance. So later in life, you realize you don't need this medicine, you know, and you sort of like get sick of it, but then you don't have a solution for your feelings that you're feeling after that, you know? So you could be self-medicating, you could be self-harming yourself. Like, there's a lot of negative aspects to the repercussions of taking these medicines, man. And I don't want you to feel bad if you take these medicines, because if they're helping you, they're helping you, you know? But if they're not helping you and you're feeling how I was feeling, I hope that you would find another solution so that you can feel a little bit better with your life and really thrive with ADD and like show people that it's not something to be scared of and to worry about, and that it's like, it's a part of you, and really it's a superpower once you figure out how to work with it and use it, you know? So that brings me to my last question for you guys of the day. I want to know if you think ADD is a thing. But I'm thinking that ADD might be an evolution of the human brain. Like, this is crazy, right? So we have come from a place where we used to work on farms, needed to be on that farm and focus on this one task so that everything else in life was okay. Now we have so many avenues of income and ways to take care of things and take care of yourself and make life okay that we just naturally focus on way more things, you know? So what if this is the brain's way of changing for our everyday lives? There's too many people that have ADD now. It's so common, like, you know, we need to do more research into this stuff, man, because I feel like it's a superpower when I'm using it to my fullest, you know? So one, I want to know if you think it's a thing. Two, I want to know if you think it's an evolution of the human brain, baby. I'll have to talk to a doctor about that later because I'm not sure. If anybody is a doctor that's watching this, please let me know. But yeah, so that's my talk on ADD. I hope that you guys will get down there in the comments and feel free to share your experiences, and I hope that I get one solution from one of you guys to make my life better, because that's all I'm trying to do for you guys. I hope that I see you here next week. Oh wait, with my ADHD, with my ADD, I almost forgot to ask you, get down there and subscribe. Please subscribe. Please keep tabs on me with that notification bell, and like this video, comment if you could. I would much appreciate it. You guys are my people, and I came here to build this community for us. Kill your week. Kill your week. Have a good week, you know what I'm saying? And we'll be back for the next one. I don't really know yet what I'm gonna do next week, but it will be about getting closer to self-awareness and creating this dope community of community feeling and connecting with like-minded, positive individuals. Peace!